So I want to show you a as-built project that I worked on recently. This is an example of how I do as-builts. This is a tree damage property on the coast. You can see the tree went right through. This is the west side of the building. It's at the Mendocino farm and inn. This is the damaged area. Damaged area, tree. Damaged area. This is the north of. There's two buildings in this structure, two different separate buildings. This is the south building and the northwest corner of the building. Damaged area. Damaged area. This is looking from the north, and you can see where there's a little shed dormer right here over this window and door, and the damage it hit here, and you can see how it's damaged the rafters all through here. It hit so hard that it actually caused it moved this dormer here, this gable dormer.
That's pretty crazy looking.
So I'm going to try and flip through these pretty quick because I want to show you the model and the AutoCAD file. So this is the east of the south. This is the east facade of the south building. Look a little close up of that. It's a complex building. Also the east facade. Also the east facade. This is the connection between the two different structures. This is the north facade of the south building. This is what used to be the coach house. This is on a deck, a second-story deck. This is the north wing of the structure. There's a rooftop deck with some stairs leading to it. This is kind of looking closely at the north facade, and the damaged area is above. You can see how the roofing has buckled here, and you can see the roofing has buckled here. And this gable dormer here has been moved by about a couple inches, I think. Actually, it may have shifted back when they released the interior siding. So obviously, this is a repair to an existing structure, and what they need for this permit is a as-built of the existing structure, and then we're going to have to address the structural issues that were caused by the damage. This is the north facade of that south wing of the structure, and this is the damaged area. You can see how the roofing is buckled. This is the shed dormer I was speaking of. There's a door right here, roof deck right here, and a window. This is the east facade, and this is the south facade. Okay. So basically, an as-built of this structure, and it's modeled in Chief Architect. This is the Mendocino farm and inn. It's one of their structures on that property. And this is the old coach house. This is the old coach house. There's an apartment above that I did not measure because it wasn't necessary for this permit. There are a number of decks. Actually, there's also a deck that used to be here that they're going to probably rebuild. There's the rafters are still, the deck joists are still coming out of the building here. They got to figure out how to patch that up. This is going to be, I imagine, a coastal review, but it's a repair and it's not an addition, because everything is existing, including the framing, partial framing for these decks. and the framing for this deck. So I'm not sure how far they're going to take it. This is for an architectural firm. So basically what I do is I take and measure the existing building and I mock it up in a modeling software called Chief Architect. And then I export it out of Chief. And I bring it into AutoCAD. And if I do the project, I basically clean it up there and sheet it and get it ready for the as-built part of the project. If it's going to require engineering, after I get the sheets created for architectural, I will create the sheets and the sections for structural, and then I'll send it to the structural engineer for evaluation and input. And then I usually do the drafting for the structural too. So you can see how this gives me a very detailed looking model of the house, including the structure, including the different floors. And these are not detailed, but I can show you basically. This is the ground floor. And the second floor, not detailed because it wasn't necessary for the permit. And then the attic. This is a 3-story structure. There's a bedroom in here, and this is open, and there's a bathroom in here on the 3rd story. So after the model is finished and agreed upon between me and the architect, engineer, or client, then I take and I export it into AutoCAD, and it comes in 1-to-1, and I place it on a bullseye. Basically, this is the 0-0 at the crosshairs, and I go basically around the compass headings for each part of the building. So you can see that from the export. This is has two different layers, or maybe even 3 actually, and it's all scalable. So this is the south facade. This is an overview from the south and east side. Overview a little bit more to the east of that. Then we have the east facade. This is all elevations. This is an overview from the northeast. An overview from the north, overview from the northwest, the west facade, and then all the different plans come from the model. They're all scalable 1-to-1 right now. And then I also take and I will lay out the sections for the building. So in the software, the modeling software, I can slice it, and I can then adjust any height problems from what I measure. If I measure it and the floor height is a little bit off, I can adjust it here. But this is also all scalable. And then I set this is set up for an architect to use. I also do the finished plans myself, but in this case it was subcontract from an architect. And this is the east to west section of the building. And the damage in this building is right here. This is where the damage is. The tree fell like basically right through the ridge here. And let's see, there's damage also. Damaged area is kind of here. There's that shed dormer. And the rooftop deck. So this is basically what I do. This is if I was going to take this project further, then I would take each of these sections and clean them up a little bit, make sure that they scale. In other words, I would take these dimensions from the sections, and I would make sure they match the elevations, and then I would sheet all of this for the as-built part of the project. Then if this was an addition, I would do take the direction from contractor or client or whoever, and I would turn this into an addition. So when you're doing a permit for a building permit for construction or remodel, you have to do the existing as a complete set of elevations and floor plans, and then you have to do a proposed, which is the proposed of what you wish to do, what you want to change, what you want to modify, and you do a complete set of same thing, elevations, plans, and sections based on what you propose. If there's engineering needed, then at that time, once you have the proposed and the existing finished, you send all that to an engineer to apply any structural requirements to seek the permit. So this is basically how I start a project, especially for an addition or repair. And basically the same process is also followed when you're doing a new project. In other words, if a client wants to direct, or an architect or an engineer, anybody wants to direct me through a new construction, then they basically tell me what they want, I draw it, and we work through the model in sharing ideas and visions until the model meets what they would like it to be, and then I take it from there and create a permit from that.